Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Monday, December 4th, 2023, as we head into the end of the year. Hope you had a great weekend. I didn't have a great weekend. First off, my wife is not around, so it's never a great weekend or a good weekend when she's not around. She's driving back from the Northeast as I speak right now. For Florida State University, where both my sons went to school, not a great weekend as they got ripped off, as the NCAA football committee is now nothing more than a figure skating bunch of judges that took a group of men who went undefeated, third-string quarterback, and still ran the table, and they made the decision that, we need the best teams. How are you not the best team when you win with your third-string quarterback after running the table? Anyway, you know where I stand on that. I just had to start with that. Hope you had a good weekend. All right. Where would we want to start? I've got a lot of little things I want to cover in no particular order. But first, if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, you go to X, put our name in, or press the button at GaryK.com. And if you'd like to email us at GaryK.com, go ahead. Just be nice. We got an email today, and it was respectful, but kind of tweaked us. And as somebody that always looks over their shoulder, you always want to answer your critics. You don't have to answer people that compliment you. You thank them, but we answer our critics. And we haven't had a lot. In case you don't know, this show, radio show, we're in a bunch of stations. We used to have a lot more, but, radio has changed, and they're talking about AM going by who the hell knows. Anyway, we're on all these podcastings, and we have a pretty solid number of people that listen to the show. And what we think we do best, first and foremost, we listen back to the show. That's number one. Number two is we think we have a good eye for the markets. And we think our mantra, which was taught to us by others, really is important. That is, when wrong, be wrong fast, be wrong small. When right, try to let them run. And as we've stated to you in the markets, the toughest part is letting them run. I have to tell you, I owned a bunch of mega cap tech stocks in the last weeks. I sold a bunch last week, a couple of more today. I don't want to sell them, but the market at a given point in time makes you. And that's how markets work for us. And we've been right about the ones we sold last week. Boy, we saved a ton of money. We sold AVGO at 670 something. It's like 620 something now. But that's besides the point. So we got an email from somebody that kind of said that we never say we're wrong and we're always right. Kind of said that it's all stale, that we're not specific. And I'm thinking to myself, what show is this guy listening to? And I respectfully answered him. So let me do a little description of this show as I see it. Number one, there is nobody more specific than us out there. What other person will say to you, avoid these areas, these are the leading areas? From July to the end of October, we were telling you 80% of the market was in downtrends. Avoid. What you can own is some of the oils and some of the mega cap tech, but that was it. On November 1st, we said we think things have changed and we think the market may turn up from here and broaden out, and it's exactly what happened. And we have highlighted financials, airlines, cruise lines, transports, or a list of areas. Gold recently, which we'll go through in a minute. How much more specific does somebody want us to be? Who else is doing that out there? Who else is stating to you, these are the bear markets, stay out? In the last month, it flip-flopped to the point where we're telling you, now avoid the oils, except for the pipelines and a couple of, stragglers that act better than the oils as a whole. Who else is doing that? So we respectfully disagree with that. We don't know where people come from, but this is what we believe about ourselves. We don't think there's anybody more direct out there and specific. And when wrong, be wrong fast, be wrong small. When right, try to let them run. Which, again, ain't easy, especially when you have markets like we've had the last 2-3 years. I know everybody's talking about the big November, but what if December gets trashed? What, you don't think that can happen? The good news is, so far so good. Except last week we started telling you, we don't like the way some of these mega cap techs are. And guess what's been under pressure? The mega cap techs. So we just wanted to answer that email, and it was pretty respectful, a little zingy here, little zing, and that's okay. At least the guy didn't call me a Nazi or something like that, which I get every now and then from some weirdos that don't have their email. Boy, oh boy, you should see some of people out there. So anyway, we just wanted to start with that. Next, what I want to bring up, and this is a Investor's Edge alert. I've got to unabashedly praise Hillary Clinton. As you know, what's going on with Israel, and there is a select minority of people that are the loudest that are out there that are acting like psychopathic, crazy, antisocial, Jew-hating scumbags. And Hillary Clinton's been front and center about Hamas, and today in front of the UN, I think she videoed it in, about how the women's organizations suck the raping of the Israeli women. And I'm not going to go into the descriptions today, but the women's organizations have flat out showed who they are. More Jew haters. I mean, life is simplistic about raping women. There's no gray areas. So good on Hillary Clinton. She gets my praise. And just so you know, there's really nothing I've liked about her. You know I blasted her, and especially her husband. But she's still an influence out there. And I love what she did today. Praise to her. Next. On the other side, you got this, what's her name, Pramila Jayapal or whatever. She's a congresswoman. She was on one of the Sunday shows and asked about the rapes. Well, but. Anti-Israel, anti-Jew, anti-Jewish scum. That's all. She's not about protecting Palestinians. She's about destroying and the murder of every Jew. And have showed it. She still have not condemned. Nothing. This is these leftist Marxist squad ass clowns. And she's luckily, I didn't do the interview. Next. There have been protests. A Jewish restaurant in Philadelphia, protests, Nazi flags, yelling, screaming, violent, vile, dirtbags. And the governor comes out and blasts them. But nobody's arrested for hate crimes. Nobody's doing anything about it. And I'm thinking to myself, and I have to be careful here. You do know we watch every word we say here because everybody's listening to every word. And if you say it the wrong way, ooh, the police are going to show up. So I'm going to say it in a general fashion. Imagine if this was being done to another group that will get defended. You get where I'm going with this, right? Where's Biden? Where is the leader of this country, the President of the United States, to tamp down these ass clowns protesting in the streets the murder of Jews? They are not protesting for Palestinians. The murder of Jews. Up next. We'll put a bow on it. Then the markets. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
So, I'm looking at video in Brooklyn right now, and these same scumbags are out there calling for the murder of Jews, not the defending of Palestinians, but the murder of Jews, the death of Jews. And there's no president. How is he not out there saying, if you are inciting terror, if you are destroying, we are going to arrest you. We're going to charge you with hate crimes. So keep at it. Not a freaking word. Where is the leadership? Oh, that's right. It's the wrong group it's being done to. Do you remember the George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter, and a bunch of riots, destruction? Do you remember how they defended up the wazoo? Where's the right and wrong? Where's the legalities? Just like we talk about the shoplifting, well, what's going on here? I read the other day they let a murderer out. Manslaughter, second-degree murder. No bail. I forgot which state, whatever, it doesn't matter. I just have to keep making these points. Because, I miss the logic. Somebody's going to try and walk into a synagogue soon and pull another Pittsburgh. That's what's going to happen. And not until then will we get a frickin' president out in force. There's a group of people that are now being attacked every single day, led by a few crumbs in D.C. And then I wake up this morning, NBC has some reporter quoting Hamas on how many people are dead and how many dead Palestinians are. They're quoting the people that murdered and raped. We're upside down. Okay, we move on. That's what we do. We segue. Or do I? We'll do Biden corruption tomorrow. Because they have all kinds of checks now. Boy, what a corrupt sleaze. I got to mention that Hawaiian Airlines, a stock I don't own a share of, was up 192% today to $14.22 because Alaska Air is buying them. The stock was under $5. They're buying them for like triple. Why would they pay that much on a company that's losing a ton of money? Beats the hell out of me. Just want to let you know. I have flown Hawaiian, the sweetest, nicest people. I don't blame you. Live in Hawaii, you're nice. Jay Powell is one of the candidates to be Person of the Year from Time Magazine. I was one of the candidates for Sexiest Man Alive from People Magazine. It's amazing. A man that played God with markets, screwed savers, created all kinds of bubbles that crashed, all kinds of distortions, inflation, and was completely wrong about it. We have a distortion now where nobody wants to sell their 3% mortgage to get an 8. That's all him. Has lost $1 trillion on his own bond buying of fake money. They announced that he's a candidate on his fight on inflation that he created. We're topsy-turvy, kids. We're in bizarro world. Blah. Blah. I don't even know what to say. It's stunning. It's stunning. The absolute destruction of what this man is caused. And I keep hearing people on TV, has Jay Powell engineered a soft landing? No, the economy has nothing to do with the 150 million of us that work our asses off every day to do better for ourselves and our family. It's engineered by one man who's been wrong on everything. I mean, what is going on? It's so weird. And I just try to be logical. What happened to us? Is everything emanating out of that nightmarish place called Washington, D.C., that's run us to $34 trillion of debt? And corruption run amok? You know, this Santos guy is gone. He's dropping dime on everybody else. It's so funny to watch. Some woman, Congressman Maya Lalakis, whatever, bought a crap load of New York City Bank or whatever the day before they were bought out. How the hell is that not the number one news today? And how is she not in front of the SEC today? I mean, this is what's going on. And I hate to be whining and complaining, but they're giving us every opportunity. I move on. Crypto. I don't own any. It was up big again over the weekend. The stocks that are involved, first MicroStrategy, which is nothing more than Bitcoin, up another $35 today to $563, 6%. That coin thing was up 5%. Even the crappier ones that traded $10 were up like 5 to 10% today. And I'm asked, well, what do you think? Well, I will tell you what I've said for years. 90% of the coins would go down 90%, with most going to zero. And there's 30,000 coins that are at zero. Don't ask me why Bitcoin is... Well, there's a few coins left standing and some real strong. And Bitcoin's on the move. So is Ethereum. There is no fundamental reason why, but the people that are in it will tell you why. Whatever. They were crapping in their pants while it was getting trashed into a year ago, and now they're geniuses again. And you know what? I hope they make zillions. For the life of me, whatever. Have fun. That's all I can say. Technically strong. Acting well. So crypto. Oils. We continue to avoid most oils except the pipelines and a couple of stragglers. Oils. Gold. Well, on Friday, the GLD hit a new high. Closing high. Got smacked today. Failed to move. What's going on? Well, it's kind of simple today. Up next, we'll explain. Get more in depth in the markets. Serenity Now. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So very simple. The dollar goes up, gold comes down. The dollar comes down, gold goes up, and the dollar's bouncing now. That's all. Gold got hit today because the dollar's bouncing a little bit today. I still think the dollar trend is down. So after the bounce, probably going to retest coming down. And that should help gold. So there's the gold. Next thing, when you have I'm doing a bunch of tidbits today, kids. When you have a chance, there was a segment on 60 Minutes on quantum computing. Now, to be fair, I didn't have a clue what they were saying and how it works. But I do know what it means is computers going to be able to do a ton more going forward. If you have a chance, find the segment from 60 Minutes on quantum computing. I absolutely, positively recommend it for you to watch. It had my interest. Next. So last week, we started to tell you that the mega cap tech was losing relative strength versus the broad market that was coming on. Another rough day today, though off the lows. NASDAQ down 119, NASDAQ 100, 157. I think the NASDAQ was down 240 at one time today. NVIDIA finished down another 12.5 today. And since so many ask about it, what has me, gargantuan earnings and revenue growth the past 2 quarters, and pretty much the stock has now done nothing the past 2 quarters. Now, we posed the reason why. We're not saying it is, but we understand the semiconductor industry. We do have the question on whether companies panicked. The AI thing. Oh, we need to buy a crap load of these chips now or there's not going to be enough. And the thought process, market believing double ordering, over ordering. And if that is the case, there's going to be less ordering going forward. We are not saying that is the case. We're posing the thought that that could be the case, as we have seen it in the past in the semiconductor industry. And what we go by, stock price performance. You got a company that earnings up 429 and 593, revenues up 101 and 206 year over year. These are gargantuan. So we keep that in our file manager. The stock finished today sitting right on the 50-day moving average within a point or two. It's probably a little oversold, but it is weak and losing relative strength. We'll see what happens. You get where we're going with this? Facebook was down another 5 today. Was down 12. Mark Zuckerberg is selling stock, and the market reacted to that. Microsoft was down another 5. The good news is it was down. Geez, didn't realize this. It was down another $6. It was down 11. So good comeback there. But Netflix was down 13, and that had been strong, but that stock's rolling over. You get what we're saying here? So mega cap tech is under some distribution here of unknown price and time. We're not reaching past what we're seeing, but we started telling you about it last week, and it was not a good day again today. That's all. Whether or not it turns into something worse, don't know. But we do know, historical, we've never seen such a concentration of power in the markets than these 7 to 10 names. Ever. And the technology percentage of the S&P is by far blows away year 2000. That in itself does not mean end of the world. It does mean if it ever goes back to the norm, these things will get hit. And just remember, I don't care what anybody tells you. The market doesn't give a crap about any of us. We can go back to the year 2000, and I can tell you the 10 stocks to own for the next decade, the next 20 years, the next 25 years. There's that. They all got crushed. Some went to remember Lucent? 0. As John Vernon said in Animal House, 0.0. So you never know. And it doesn't matter what it is. You got to remember back then, it was Intel, it was Cisco, it was Lucent, it was Nortel, it was WorldCom, it was AOL. So pay attention to your stocks. There are no laws that says something is forever. Except maybe Hershey's, which, by the way, the stock has been trashed. So rough sledding for the mega caps. What is interesting is, as we said last Friday, on Friday we said small and mid caps took another leg to the upside, the stair step. With the Dow down 41, the S&P down 24, which is like the equivalent of 200 Dow points, and the NASDAQ down 119, and the NASDAQ 100 down 157. The Russell 2000 was up the equivalent of 360 Dow points, and the mid-cap 400 was up the equivalent of 275 Dow points. So some of that's going on. We mentioned to you the regional banks broke above a little range. Regional banks are up 1% today. The big banks mostly up, though down earlier. We said the transports broke above range. Transports up 61 today. So just letting you know, changing of the guard. We have a changing of the guard near term. Not necessarily saying one's going to be trashed and one's going to go big time. What we're saying relative to each other, changing of the guard. 3M is rallying up, NVIDIA is croaking. How's that? 3M, a comatose Dow stock, is rallying up. NVIDIA is croaking. That's what we mean on a relative basis. I've yet to do my scans. I did one at noon today. I got to do another one after the close. Looks okay. And the small and mid caps. Keep in mind, small caps, leave no doubt, there's a bunch of regional banks in there that have to be. It's been directing traffic for the Russell 2000, both up and down. I don't even have to look. You can just see it. And just a lot of beaten up stuff that we told you the floor had lifted. Still going on. Cruise lines, another good day. Royal Caribbean is at a new yearly high. The others not even close. Airlines, better. And of course, you know what happened with Hawaiian Air today. Alaska Air was down $6 for the purchase. I don't get why they paid so much, but then again, I don't run the joint. And they keep talking about Alaska Air. I flew it once. No TV, no leg room. The people were nice. Up next, what else we got for you? We'll figure it out. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to...
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for? 1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
So, just so you know, I'm sure it will not get to him, but I prepared an email that I am sending to the White House that the president needs to come out in prime time to defend the Jewish community. The reason why he won't? The Muslim community came out on the last day and said, we're not voting for you because you're not defending Palestinians. But we're still going to send the email. What do they say about we live in interesting times? Here's what I'm watching. On this pullback here, the semiconductor index held the 21-day moving average. Why the 21-day? Well, it's because it just works on a short-term basis. The 50-day is the big macha. That needs to hold. The good news is the losses were cut in half today. The NASDAQ 100, the 21-day moving average was at 15,716. It hit within 15 points today and bounced. The NASDAQ, the 21-day moving average is 14,014. Hit a low of 14,058. You know what we know right now? That's your important support. If at any time it gets taken out, whatever's going on in these areas that I've been mentioning will get a little bit worse. Simple as that. And what we do now is we gauge. Okay, so we're getting a pullback in the mega caps and a bunch of tech, but other tech is not pulling back and actually was up today. And then there's other tech that looks like it topped. I can tell you something like a symbol SMCI, maybe even a Dell. Not a Dell the singer, Dell Computer. Well, it's now Dell Tech. Or a Rambus. Names we think may have topped. And the more we see of that indeed becomes topped, the more we know things are getting sloppier. But we're not there yet. So just one rough day today for tech and NASDAQ, but definitely off the lows, which counts for something. But then again, on the other end, the rails that have terrible earnings, terrible sales growth, they turned the corner last week with the transports up another stair step. They were up again today. Some of the big financials were weak early, up again. Regional banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, PNC Bank. The housing stocks broke above range on Friday. More today. Let's hope it continues. Some housing-related stuff, like a Restoration Hardware, better. Hand in hand. So we are in close contact with all these areas. We're in the end of the year. Everybody's saying rally. We couldn't give a crap what they say. We'll just pay attention to the market. I know some very smart people that think this is the last hurrah, that the Russell's still down 24% from 2 years ago and it's just and that all the leading economic indicators are heading big time south and the market's going to start reacting to it. Well, I got news for you. It hasn't yet. And I can promise you, absolutely promise you, if the market starts deciding, here comes the recession, here comes the economic downturn, the transports aren't going to go up. The economically sensitive stocks aren't going up. Right now they are. So just like we did on November 1st, when we said we think things are changing, and last week when we said issues with the mega cap, we're in no way, shape, or form thinking anything untoward just yet on an overall basis. If that occurs, you'll know it, because we'll tell you it. But as always, it's your money. You get to decide what to do with it. We don't tell you what to do. We tell you what we think. And then close our eyes, hold our nose, and pray. Nope, that doesn't work. We've tried. We've tried with our New York Football Giants. We've tried with the Mets. We've tried with the Knicks since what year? God knows how long. Mets since 86. Knicks since 72. Now, the Giants have given us a few good years. We can forgive them a little bit. Yields were up today. Just oversold. Bouncing. Oil was down today. You know what we think of most oils? And the dollar, because yields were up, was up. To be watched. Another area we just almost completely avoid is China. If you look at the FXI, it's the China 50 index, new yearly low. Because some of the big names. But some of the other names, symbol PDD, symbol EDU, act well. But something like a NetEase, gross, breaks down. Baidu and Alibaba, very important names to the index, trashed. So just another area, and we'll keep letting you know. You all have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for joining. Until tomorrow. Peace out. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.